You've got massive amounts of fixed income bonds and other assets that are broken. And those are traditionally the things that are easy to manage. And if you can't do 100 trillion in bonds, you have to go into equity, but there's not enough equity, right? So if the equity markets in the US were 35 trillion and they got 100 trillion in bonds that are broken, you can't just jam $50 trillion into equity.
Right.
Well, you can, but what are the consequences, right? You overvalue the equity, right?
Right.
Hi, I'm Crypto Positive. If you like this video, please leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. It's very important to the channel and gives me motivation to make more videos about crypto for you. And now let's go to the video.
I mean, I can't imagine any of those examples, right? I mean, yeah, lots of examples. We overvalue the equity as we jam the money into it. And people are waking up and they're looking for that alternate asset class.
Yes.
And the beauty of Bitcoin is Bitcoin can never get overvalued because Bitcoin's a bank in cyberspace. If you jam 50 trillion into it, the price would go up by 50 trillion and it would be worth 50 trillion more. I mean, it's the ideal solution to the problem. Now, I talked about a bunch of financial applications and I'm always thinking about corporations and governments as platforms, but we should also talk about hardware applications. So, there's a lot of hardware applications of Bitcoin. There's the miners, there's the nodes, there's the wallet. Any device that exists could have Bitcoin's protocol built into it. And the question is, do you want to build the wallet protocols? You can build Lightning and you can build Bitcoin wallet right into any mobile device. You could build it into jewelry, right? You could build multi-signature protocols into your watches, your jewelry, your phones, your desks, your appliances. And that's a differentiating business. It's not on, people build Bluetooth into stuff, right? This is more important than Bluetooth. Bit more important than Bluetooth, right? You can also build nodes and node capabilities right into devices, and you can build mining into devices, right? You could integrate these capabilities right into firmware or into hardware. And why would you do it? Because it's differentiating. If if they build Bitcoin support into Face ID or Touch ID and the iCloud, if the iCloud was like a multi-signature, multi-factor, Bitcoin cloud, then you've got $1 trillion worth of Bitcoin that can flow into the iCloud. That differentiates iCloud.
Yeah.
You can do it with Google. Google Cloud. You could do it in Microsoft, right? You could do it in Facebook. And so Apple's interesting because it crosses hardware and software and network areas. But, if you go into the software area, you've got Windows and iOS and Android, and these are all operating systems. And to a certain extent, things like Chrome are like their own little mini operating system. You can build Bitcoin right into those things. I mean, Google built password managers into Chrome.
Yeah.
Right. If the operating system has native support for the monetary protocol, then either that's a reason to use the operating system, or you can pass on those primitives and that functionality to the applications running on the operating system.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Apple lets banking applications use Face ID for authentication.
Right.
And that makes the banking applications better. And so if you want to compete in hardware and devices or in software OSs, then putting the monetary protocol into it is just like building TCP/IP. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when TCP/IP wasn't built into every computer. There's really fascinating decentralized applications like decentralized identifiers that is probably like outside the scope of our conversation here. It's like an entirely other world.
Yes. Yeah.
But with hardware and software, that leads you to cloud, right? Because cloud's another application. AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud and the like are all general purpose containerized corporate platforms for spinning up massive applications. And so to the extent that they have support for Bitcoin or Lightning and certain other monetary protocols, then it makes it easier for their clients, like Zoom. Zoom went from nothing to 400 million users during COVID because they were sitting on top of cloud platforms from, an Azure or an AWS. And if they weren't, they couldn't have scaled. Mm-hmm. So when they're scaling, they need to be able to access these underlying services. Monetary services are destined to be built into every application. And they would be differentiator. Now, if we go to another really interesting application, take social networks, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Well, one of the killer applications for social networks is verification and creditworthiness. Or another way to say it is to put skin in the game. Right now, there's no cost for malicious behavior. So if I open up my Instagram direct messages, 99% of them are bots. They're not really people. And when I look at my Twitter comments, a lot of times 90% of them will be bots or malicious actors. So you've got a bot war. People have computers spinning up fake Twitter accounts, and then Twitter has computers taking them down as fast as they can. And in the first hour after I post, I just see a bunch of garbage. And then maybe after a day, they've cleaned it up and there's like real comments. But what that means is there's a 2, 3, 4, 5 hour delay between when I do something and when I don't have garbage in the feed. Mm-hmm. How do you solve it? Well, the logical way to solve it is I put 100,000 Satoshis on a Lightning wallet, and then I make a security deposit to Twitter, or security deposit to Instagram, or security deposit to YouTube. And if you deposit, that's like $40, right? Pick a number. It doesn't matter what the number is. Something less than a lot, but more than nothing.
Ожидание вокзала. Стою и смотрю куда-то в сторону перрона.